All right, guys. Good evening, and hope you're all doing wonderful this night. We got ourselves Accel eSports facing off against Winky Face, and a little bit difference in the standings with Excel pretty high up there for Division C. They're currently sitting at, I believe, number 3 in the standings. Uh, Winky Face not doing quite as well. They're sitting at number 15 out of 17. Accel Esports is number 4. Sorry, and they've gone 9-3, and Winky Face has gone 4-8. So they haven't done too poorly. I mean, they've taken games. It's not like a complete shout out. In some of the divisions where some of the teams in the bottom of the standings have actually had limited to no wins so far. Now we're going to kick things off on one of my favorite maps. It's going to be on Towers of Doom. So Towers of Doom is very micro and macro intensive. In Towers of Doom, you have to deal with sapper camps, and you have to deal with different positions for the objectives that switches, and it creates a lot of interesting strategies and a lot of interesting drafts. But before we talk more about that, we're going to head on into the actual draft. Now, Towers of Doom, very macro intensive because you know where the first 3 are going to go. The first objective happens always with 2 top, 1 mid, or 1 bot. The 2 top are often split by the solo laners. However, that is not always the case. A lot of teams will opt to go and delay it, especially if you do something like pick up the Lost Vikings. Very, very easy to delay with the Lost Vikings. And really, the point of something like that is to get yourself an XP lead, delay it out as long as possible, and get soaked simultaneously as a TLV team. Very similar to how an Abathur comp might be trying to delay out the objective as long as possible because of the fact that they want Abathur to get all that free soak. So, we're going to see the Blaze, Diablo, and now Urel banned on out. I'd like to actually see Accel eSports pick up Dahaka here. With Blaze taken off, Urel taken off, they're actually taking out Dahaka too. We're going down to really the bottom of the barrel for solo laners. So with the barrel being scraped now for solo laners, we're going to be looking at a much more interesting draft, I feel, between both teams. For starters, we're going to get the Sonya and the White Mane picked up almost immediately without a thought. Deckard is definitely solid, and because they both didn't ban out any supports, they both get arguably the 2 best supports in the game at the moment. Now, with the Sonya, they have a very strong solo laner. Now, Malthael is definitely a viable choice. However, the big problem with Malthael is I feel he falls off towards the later stage of the game in a lot of cases. And he can definitely double soak, especially when he gets on a pale horse. It makes it very easy to get between lanes, and his clear is pretty good. The problem is he actually burns through a decent chunk of mana, unlike a lot of other heroes, because he keeps basically holding down the Q button, keeps draining them, and keeps having his percent damage dealt to them. If he doesn't do that, it's much slower to clear. Now, Sonya definitely can clear, but I feel Malthael actually wins the double lane soak race. Sonya doesn't do shabby though, but be fair. The Johanna and Asmodin. I feel Asmodin is highly overrated. I've said this over and over again. I feel he's a pick that teams think are really good, but is ultimately very mediocre. They did pick up the Johanna for the wave clear, which I like. It does help Asmodin significantly in his battle to get to the coveted 200 stacks to complete his quest. Although it does go up to 400, to be fair. Now, we're going to pick up Tychus and Gul'dan on the side of Accel eSports. Tychus is ultra valuable here. If they pick up another warrior solo lane, it's going to be potentially Leo is another choice, but that means Tychus gets insane value. Asmodin actually is very beefy, he's a chunky guy, and has HP around that of a tank, which means that Tychus can chew through that HP very, very easily. And additionally, they picked up the Gul'dan with a frontline like Johanna, Leo, and potentially even Asmodin getting hit. That's a lot of damage to chew through those HP bars. Additionally, they're going to pick up the Greymane and Leo. The Greymane, I think, is a pretty good pick here in that they get someone who could do camps, and he has good wave clear. And overall, it's not too scary for him at the moment. Now, Muradin is definitely something to be concerned about. He can slow his attack speed, he can stun him, Sonya can spear him in the face, technically Whitemane eventually can rune him in place, and he can be horrified. Now, that's a lot that I just said, but there's a lot less CC overall than some comps like a Deckard Cain, for instance. If they had Deckard Cain on the side of Accel eSports, I'd say the Greymane pick was definitely not the right choice. But in this particular instance, I think it's a solid overall pick. And the big problem I feel for Winky Face is that they're going up against a comp that will generally excel from level 1. To be fair, Gul'dan does need to ramp up, which is going to make or break how they perform overall. As you know, ramping up is not a slow thing is not a fast thing for Gul'dan. He has to drop those corruption stacks or get those corruption stacks, and once he hits 40, which takes a while, especially if you're only hitting maybe one person in him, or you're only getting it to trigger one time, it's going to take you quite a while. Normally you'll get yourself 2 to 3 stacks per corruption use, and eventually you'll get yourself your echoed corruption. If you're lucky, there are 2 frontliners, so you can hit both of them. You can potentially hit them multiple times. Greymane, you might be able to hit him 2 and hit him multiple times. And you might be able to stack that up much faster, but we'll see how it works for Accel eSports. We're going to jump on into the game now as everyone has loaded on in. We got Thick Mane on the Tychus. We got Poop Feast 420 on the Muradin. We got EO on the Whitemane. Hysteria is going to be on that Gul'dan. And we got G Money on the Sonya. And that is going to be Accel eSports. On the other side, we got Brickhouse on the Asmodin. We got 2D Moss on the Johanna. We have Genzers on the Greymane. Spogino on the Leoric. And finally, BZ on the Deckard Cain, and that's going to be Winky Face. So taking a quick look what we got here, we're going to see the Wrath picked up here. We got Osciant Renewal. I don't think I've seen this picked up in a very long time, and I think this is actually a very bad map to pick it up overall, because it's not a very fast thing. He's not double soaking like on some other maps. Now, we also have the Scroll of Identify, Viciousness, and Hold Your Ground. I don't think Hold Your Ground is really necessary here, but it's not a bad talent nonetheless. We also have on the other side, the Pity the Frail. We got War Paint, Echoed Corruption, a Third Wind, and Press the Advantage. So things are kicking off really fast. We got Winky Face starting up this camp really quickly here. Genzers is taking a bunch of damage, but he's doing overall a pretty solid job of making sure to avoid that camp damage. So this is definitely going to apply a lot more pressure than I believe Accel eSports is intending, but at this point they're going to start up their own sappers as well. It looked like Genzers wasn't actually queuing them much in Worgen form, which definitely speeds up your clear time significantly. So hopefully does that a little bit more often. In the top lane, though, we got Spagino getting whirlwinds to the face. Going to be losing that battle for now, as G-Money is capable of healing back off this wave just through the war paint. In the bot lane, however, it's a battle of sappers. Unfortunately, Accel eSports is not escorting their sappers, but they're coming in for the collapse. We got Poop Feast on the prowl. There's a nice corruption onto VZ, but Unstoppable and 2D Moss will be able to walk away scot-free. Now, unfortunately, they walk away fighting 3v4 and are not able to escort these sappers very far forward. That's the unfortunate situation here. They did have Greymane head into the mid lane to get the soak. Leo is now getting the soak top lane, and Sonya is filling in for basically double soaking, if you will.
Be ready. You must capture them quickly.
So this really swings momentum a lot. A lot of teams will start panicking because they lost the first objective, and really the only time to sort of panic is if you lose all three. Losing all three is pretty big. It takes you down to 28 at that point. We got the Unstoppable coming on out. Greymane will be coming and joining in the rest of the party. And we have once again the solo laners picking up in the meantime. 2D Moss has already taken a chunk of damage. The scroll will lock down too, but it's not going to be enough to really push him off this point at the moment. Hysteria is trying to chunk him, not going to hit corruption at all. That's a big cooldown to miss. Spogino now in there. G-Money on the flank, though. Going to hit Genzers with that spear. Genzers now trying to escape, not sure which way to go. And there they push out the Greymane. However, 2D Moss is still sitting pretty, still ready to go on in at any given moment. There's a spear onto the Johanna the Condemn into the root. That's 3 members, and then the dunk on top of that. Spogino, though, will be the first to fall, and they are pretty chunked on the side of Accel eSports. 2D Moss, though, will be joining Leo in the afterlife, and first set of objectives go on over to Accel eSports. Now, unfortunately, they didn't back up and tap. Like, that's usually the play you want. You want 1% to delay, which could be Johanna, and then you want the team to tap and come back in for the re-engage. That is the most optimal way to try and take that without losing members. Now, both sapper camps are back up. We got the wave push on up here. G-Money, though, will heal on up rather trivially, and they're looking for it. VZ is not going to actually get stunned out there. I believe that was actually the minion of Brick House preventing the stun. If it was, that was very nicely done. So we got Genzers and 2D Moss now trying to clear up this camp as well. They're going to be working on this. And on the other side, they're going to be doing the same with Hysteria going and getting that mid lane soak. They're going to clear it up first. They're not going to go and actually... Ooh, 2D Moss getting aggressive. Will actually spot this out. He should collapse on in because his team is right there. Unfortunately, his team is not going to follow in, and 2D Moss is going to get chunked down quite heavily. There's the corruption. Poop Beast botting him in there, and say goodbye to 2D Moss. Going a little bit too deep into the jungles, and the Congo has taken him. So at this point, we have advantage for Accel eSports. They have their sapper camp pushing on in, and they have a man advantage. Now, everyone is rotating on down here. We got G-Money. He will catch this wave really quickly, but it's also going to mean he's delayed just a little bit. Bottom is being picked up by EO right now, and we got Spogino dropping that drain onto G-Money. Corruption only going to be the tip on Spogino, but that means a big cooldown is down. Oh, 2D Moss going on real deep there. There's the root. Spogino's taking a lot of damage, as has Genzers going for the booty of Thick Mane, and he's going to have to back on out. Accel eSports is going in deep and hard, and they have now gotten themselves very likely the next objective. Genzers is going to be spun on, but G-Money is very far. Brickhouse trying to laser him on down, but it's not going to be enough. Lasers... they're not a charge-in. So, 2 more objectives to Accel eSports. Accel eSports are right now running the train on Winky Face. They've gotten themselves 4 kills. They're a level ahead, about a half a level ahead in XP, which means that the next set of objectives, they could be 10 while Winky Face is not. And that's going to be very, very detrimental. As you can see, 10 is about to come up here. We have Sapper Camp in 25 seconds. Accel eSports positions themselves to go and take that siege camp. There's the stun coming on in before Iron Skin. There's the Iron Skin getting popped now. Then let's check out the corruption stacks where we're at. We're only at 13 stacks at the moment. Taking a look at what we have here, we got full life funnel build. We got the Scarlet Aegis that's being picked up. We got the Horrify, the Avatar, and the Draken a laser, which is very interesting. You almost never see the laser opted for nowadays. And now they're looking for it. There's a Horrify going to be dropped before Tootie actually can pop the Unstoppable. But Tootie's getting heavily chunked down. And there is enough shielding from the potion and enough healing to keep Tootie alive. Now, they hit their own level 10s. And the only level 10 use there, or heroic use on the side of Accel eSports, is going to be that Horrify, which is actually a big heroic to not have up for the next set of altars. However, the next set of altars is easy because Accel eSports just trades and they continue their advantage. They're currently up by 12 shots, which is a pretty large advantage. Just play it slow, continue getting your advantage because they already have a level lead. And that's exactly what they're going to start doing. Got Thick Mane down there. Toonie Mouse is actually going to come on in just really to clear this up, and both teams traded on out. So nothing too out of the ordinary there. Spogino, though, is going to get some free soak in the meantime. Taking a look at what else we have here. We will have the Neil Peasant, so he can clear that up. Hopelessness is actually the choice here. We also have the Bombardment, the Battleborn, Potion of Shielding, Emerald, Thick Skin alongside the Wizened Duelist, and the Viciousness. I actually don't think Thick Skin makes a lot of sense here. Thick Skin doesn't really get value, especially against someone like Tychus who just blows through it almost immediately. And we're already at 94 stacks up in the rhythm. Almost at 100, so almost 3 more seconds of the minigun, which is really going to plow through them. So we got Zealous Glare and Sins Exposed. Now, Zealous Glare to me feels like a trap because Johanna often is using her blind from a distance. By the time she reaches her target is about to lose the blind. And so it's often very invaluable because you don't get enough swings in with your slow hitting full noodle to keep the blind up for long enough. Now, a couple other choices there are Subdue and the Blessed Momentum. I think both of those are much better choices overall than the Zealous Glare. So top lane we have the Bao. G-Money might actually be going down here, but he's trying his damnedest and he didn't pick up a Wrath, which is going to cost him his life. So this is actually what Winky Face was looking for. They get themselves an XP kind of advantage here where they can soak up and have the sappers push in. They have 20 seconds with a man advantage, and if they just wait for Decker Kane, or sorry, a Greymane going to eat this bolt to the face, but they're going to be coming on in hot. Gens are coming on in. Stay a while and listen. The laser is melting Greymane. And Hysteria, though, getting chased on down by Tootie Moss. The laser, though, helping to take him down just enough. And Tootie Moss going to another planet, leaving behind his team, and says, well, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. We're going to Mars, baby. So at this point, top has been pushed in. So they have themselves a man advantage and actually lose a member there. That's a significant problem, either in composition or communication. And one thing that was seriously problematic was Gensers went in and was just taking the laser almost the entire time, which then basically forced him out. And his team, once again, didn't go back to tap, which then means they lose Tootie, who was way too far. So taking a look at stacks, we're still only at 175. There's the Iron Skin, but Genzer's is coming on in. There's the Blessed Shield. They lock down Thick Mane, but the Scarlet Aegis, given the heal, given that big old armor, and Poop Beast is trying to escape at the moment. He'll make it on out, and with that third wound, he'll be fine and dandy as he'll start healing up pronto. In the meantime, we got Sonya free soak in the top lane, and Hysteria trying his best to keep that wave pushed in. This is a much better rotation. If he did flank down, it would have been very dangerous, but it would have also been very ballsy. They do have the hard fight, and he could have sent all the members of Winky Face into his keep and potentially wiping them all right there. So 16 to 32, 16 shot differential. At this point, they can literally give up the same number of shots remaining for Accel eSports and get themselves advantage elsewhere if they wanted to do something absolutely crazy. And a 3-man route from VZ, going to keep them from chasing 2D much further. But there is the triple objective, and every objective so far has been in Accel eSports' favor. All but one, really. And they're going to start the channel, and they'll be trading out once again. One, giving them only one on the side of Winky Face. And at this point, Winky Face has to start making desperate plays. Because if they're giving up shots like this, they're down to 8. They need to force the situation before level 16 comes on up. There's the flank. They're trying to come on in. We got Poop Beast pretty far forward to keep them from getting on in. The Blessed Shield's going to come on out. But the Scarlet Aegis and G-Money coming from the top rope is going to elbow drop them and send them on back. Genzer's going to be trapped all alone. And that's going to be 2 kills for Accel eSports. We're going to take a look at that bad boy again. Maybe not. Maybe not. We have the wrong game showing there still. All right. Need to figure out that bug. But nonetheless, it's been clipped. You'll be able to catch it later. Now, Accel eSports going to get a lot of advantage here. They get themselves a bottom keep. Top, however, has pushed in, but Spagino is not the world's fastest sieger, which means that even though this is pushed in, it's not that critical. Now, Accel eSports have lost their 16 advantage, but it's not going to matter because they have themselves a structure advantage. What I'd like to see them do is keep the pressure up in the bot lane, especially now. You do not want to give up this keep before this altar spawns, which is very unlikely, but if you keep control over here, there's nowhere for Winky Face to retreat to. There's a stun onto Spagino. There is the shield glare, and we're going to be looking for another top rope leap from G-Money. Now, bottom is going to actually, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're actually committing for this, Winky Face. They want to fight for this without actually being able to retreat anywhere. Spagino is very far forward. Now there's the bomb from above, but Spagino taking a ton of damage. The Kraken laser coming out, and the top rope, G-Money going to land it on 3 members, but they've already lost the Tychus as Genzer comes in on the backside. Scarlet Aegis will be popped, going to keep them all up and running just fine at this point, and they cannot come on in unless they want to face the wrath of that laser. 2D very far forward, trying to clear this wave. And we got Spagino going to just take it straight to the Chrome Dome and going to be going down in the meantime. G-Money spinning to win on top of him. The Condemned's going to stop him for now. Hysteria is taking a lot of damage. Will have to back out now. And G-Money's trying to stop 2D and will be successful as 2D so desperately tries to interrupt Accel eSports. At this point, the conversion of that altar will be complete, and they will fire another 5 shots. At this point, Accel eSports is in the driver's seat, and they're in the driver's seat of a pristine Bugatti at this point, 28-3. They're going to have to go to Throw City if they want to lose this game. And you can go to Throw City very easily, but Throw City is where they'll have to go. Boss is going to be in contention. Genzer is staying up here for no reason. I mean, his team's already spotted out where they were, and at this point, Genzer is essentially just wasting time. not accomplishing anything for his team, which is either to try and help them get 20, which would be taking this camp on top, or pushing in for the keep. Now, he did neither of those things, which is definitely problematic since the race to 20 is definitely in favor of Accel eSports. They need the 20 to have any hope because Entomb with Buried Alive is actually really good. They're looking for the flank. There goes Spagino. Are we going to get the Entomb? Scarlet Age is going to come out really early. They've trapped Hysteria. Stay a while and listen, but G-Money on the backside is going after the old man, and they're going to trade 1 for 1. G-Money's not done yet, as is Thickmane, and they're looking for more. They get themselves Tunimos, and Genzers has nowhere to go because Poop Beast, well, baby, he's going to be pooping on Greymane in the meantime because Genzer has no... Genzer's... Where are you going? Genzer's literally feeding here. Team, please report because that is definitely inting, and that is going to be GG.
The time is now, heroes. Claim the altars in my name.
Accel eSports just running away wild with this game. 15 kills to 3 kills. And I did say that I wasn't sure how I felt overall. We only hit 270. But at the same time, Echoed Corruption never completed as well. So I'd argue Gul'dan didn't get the value that they were really hoping for. We're going to hop on over into the match summary. Taking a quick look at what we got here. Now, damage, Thickmane by far and away the champion tonight. 63,000 damage. That is 20,000 more than Asmodee. Sonya, 42,000 without Wrath. That is really, really good. Gul'dan, only 36,000. So, like I was saying, the Gul'dan pick did not really pan out for him. A Sonya without Wrath doing 6,000 more damage is generally not a successful Gul'dan, in my opinion. And we also have 26k for the Greymane, 24 for Leo, and keeps going down from there. So Greymane, almost 0 value for the side of Winky Face. And in part, that laser really just screwed with him. If Greymane comes on in, he gets the laser to the face. And they did not actually have the tools necessary to blow up the laser while trying to fight Accel eSports simultaneously. And quick look of the talents for anyone who's interested. We're going to see Holy Fury. I recommend never picking up Holy Fury. It's probably the worst of all the talents at 13. Same with, like I said, as Zealous Glare. Anything else? We have the Executioner, which is great on the prowl. But like I said, they were not able to secure pretty much any kills. And Asmodee not really paying off for them either because their early game was weak. And so both teams picking up heroes that, in my opinion, didn't really pan out. But Accel eSports walks away with game number 1. And we'll be back with game number 2 shortly.